If you have an extra $1,000 in savings, the first thing that you want to do before you actually put it to work is think about what are your biggest priorities. And you can think in a hierarchy. If you have a lot of high interest debt, that should be your first priority because it's going to be hard to get a better rate of return on any products, whether that's a savings account or even in the stock market. However, if you don't have any high interest debt, you should think next, do I have an emergency fund? If you don't have an emergency fund or a cushion of cash that you could utilize in case of an emergency, that should be your next priority. You want to make sure that you have an emergency fund that's equal to roughly 1 month of your total expenses or more. Ideally, you could build up to something like 3 to 6 months, but if you have a minimum of 1 month, that's a great starting point. Now, if you have both of those crossed off the list already, no high yield debt, and you already have an emergency fund, then start to thinking about investing. You could look to a high yield savings account if you want to be conservative with that money, or you could look to other investments like stocks or mutual funds, which could give you a higher rate of return. But be warned, things like mutual funds and stocks can have additional risk. So you want to be careful how much money you put in that and what your overall expectations are of how long you can keep that money invested.